Hey everybody, it's Steve, Chief Paralegal here at Durbin Law Firm. In this video, we're going to look at how to run a basic federal trademark search for software. Before we get started, let's take a bird's eye view of the trademark registration process. First is the search, then the application, which is reviewed by an examining attorney with the government. This examining attorney is checking to make sure that your mark does not create a likelihood of confusion. Those are going to be our buzzwords, likelihood of confusion, in the marketplace with a previously registered trademark. I point this out because it does not take an exact match of your desired trademark to justify a rejection of your application. Okay, so first we need a name for our software. For that I'm using a random word generator, and we got pentacapsular. It's never easy with the random word generator. But I do think this will be a good word to check out because a lot of times when people are registering a trademark, they'll do things where they'll combine two words to make one word. So here we've got pentacapsular, 5 capsules. It'll be good to see how to run a trademark search when you've got to split up a word like this. Okay, so the first thing we do is go to the uspto.gov. I'll include links to all of this in the comments section below. Click Trademarks, click TESS, click Basic Word Mark Search. Okay, we're ready to get started. First thing you want to do, click Live. We don't care about dead marks right now. And in this field, just enter your word, pentacapsular. No surprise there, no records found. Now, as I had mentioned before, just because there is not an exact match to your desired trademark does not mean that it will definitely get registered. Again, the examining attorney is looking for a mark that could cause a likelihood of confusion in the marketplace. So this could be a similar trademark, it could just sound similar. So what we want to do in this case is broaden our search. So how do we do that? Well, we go back, and now I want to introduce you to the $, which is the most important thing you're going to want to use while using the uspto.gov. The $, tells the software to look for any numbers or words that follow what you have already entered. So here we've got penta and the $, we click Submit. 245 records, way too many to look through. So we're going to want to whittle this down. How do we whittle it down? Click on Freeform. This is known as a freeform search. As you can see, I already have the search written up, but let's go through it. Here we have penta with the $, just like we had previously, but now we have MI, which is mark index, and it's in brackets. This tells the software that this is the mark we're trying to look for, and tells the software to look for this and make sure it's live, LD, and also we want it to be in class 042. Now, if you're wondering what I mean by class, then check out this video right here, which is going to go in detail over the types of classes you want to look in when registering software. Here I have 042, which is for non-downloadable software. We're also going to look in 009, which is for downloadable software. Now, just as a quick note, you want to make sure you put the 0 here, because if you don't, the system will tell you that there's no records. But with the 0 in there, records. Same goes for 009. You've got to have the 2 zeros in there. Submit. Okay? Let's go back to 042. Penta 042. You may notice here, some of these marks are registered, some of these marks are not. There's basically 2 reasons why the mark wouldn't be registered. Either it was recently applied for, or an examining attorney has issued an office action. The office action either tells the applicant that there's a likelihood of confusion that their mark will create in the marketplace, or that there's a problem with their paperwork. Right now, let's just take in the broad picture here. We've got things like Pentacam, Pentascanner, Pentaho, Pentagram. Let's inspect these by clicking on them and see if they're all for software. Pentacam is, if you come down here, development of computer hardware and software. Next doc. Software, next doc, software. So what I'm seeing here is that there are a lot of marks that start with penta, have a different suffix, which are allowed to be registered for software. So now I want to check out capsular. Let's go back. So let's look. No records. But what about capsule? Again, remember, if at first you don't see something, broaden your search. Here we go. Now we've got capsule marks. We can click on them. Are they for software so far? Website design, development for others, software. Okay, so now we've got an idea of what's in class 042, but remember, I also said you want to check out class 009. So let's click submit. Now we've got 18 records. We could go through all of these. We can also move the $sign to the front of capsule to make sure that we're not missing anything that came before capsule. So hopefully this gives you some ideas on how to get started with your search. To review, use the $sign to break your word apart. Look in class 042, also look in class 009. If you watch my trademark class video on software, you'll also know look in class 3.8. You'll also probably want to look in class 3.5. My personal opinion is that when it comes to software, I really recommend using an attorney like Josh here. It's not that you can't do it on your own, but from personal experience, software is very tricky when it comes to the USPTO. The USPTO has allowed identical trademarks to be registered so long as the software is different. That's not always the case, but occasionally some words have been heavily diluted in the marketplace. So I would suggest, not for nothing, just give Josh a call. It's a free consultation, 281-6275. Finally, before I go, I just want to go over some limitations of this video. It is just a brief overview, but I hoped it helped to familiarize you with the USPTO and get you started on your search process. At Gerben Law Firm, we use professional grade search software, which allows us to go way more in depth into these types of searches. Second, it doesn't cover state or common law searches, which is part of a comprehensive search that you want to run in order to ensure no legal trouble down the road. And third, it's not legal advice and is not a substitute for talking with an attorney. But thank you very much for watching, and because each trademark search is unique, you can check out some of my other trademark search videos, which should help you even more through the process.